Three stocks rich investors told me they were buying this week amid the biggest market sell-off since the global pandemic. I'm Maddie Mills, I'm a business reporter, and I talk to a lot of wealthy investors for a living. And while there's obviously a lot of uncertainty right now, some of my sources are still finding buying opportunities in the market, even though I am hearing increasingly less folks finding those buying opportunities. But here are a couple things I heard people buying this week. It's all about trash this week, baby, because investors were mentioning waste management at a rate that I have never seen in my career. People are pouring into trash stocks, literally trash, because if we are in a recession, that trash still has to get picked up. So they are pouring into companies like Waste Management, and also we are seeing that investors are pouring into things like consumer staples, utilities, some insurance names, things that are requirements to survive that don't tend to be under pressure even if we do enter a recession. One investor told me that he is buying Nvidia at these levels, with Nvidia hitting under $100 a share this morning. This investor sees a 10 to 20% bounce back opportunity for Nvidia moving forward, especially if we do get any sort of negotiations on tariffs. This investor also told me this after we heard from China that they were putting a 34% retaliatory tariff on the United States. So this investor's bull case is still intact, even if we do see a retaliation and tit for tat in the trade war continuing moving forward. Make bonds great again is another quote from an investor I spoke with this morning who is piling into U.S. Treasuries as a safe haven. Now, one thing I am interested in personally is how long bonds do what they are supposed to do. We typically see that when stocks are selling off, there is a bid in Treasuries. Are we going to continue to see that, or will there be so much concern about the health of the U.S. economy, our ability to pay off our debts as our deficit increases, that we start to see some pressure in the bond market and that safe haven trade being put into question? That's not what I'm saying is going to happen, but it's something I'm going to be talking to sources about. And a bonus for those who stayed to the end. Another investor told me he likes a few of the Mag 7 names at these levels, particularly Meta and Alphabet, but this investor keenly mentioned that they are not going into Apple at these levels because of the exposure that Apple's supply chain has to the Asian region. We're about to head into another quarterly earnings cycle, so will we see the big tech companies being able to even deliver forward guidance this cycle? That is something for investors to keep in mind, because how do you make long-term investment decisions without that forward guidance? Something that I will continue to be covering for you here and, of course, on Yahoo Finance. Comment with questions and follow me for more.